All right, I need everybody to go on Rumble right now and follow my page so you don't miss out on any videos or live streams. Anytime I share the links on X, they get hidden due to the fact that we are no longer allowed to post external links on X that get broadcasted out to everybody. So even if you have your notifications on X, you might not get it. So follow, turn the notifications on. That way you don't miss any of the free content I'm putting out here in the future. All right, what's going on, everybody? Happy Halloween. And we're back, another monthly prep here. It's gonna be my last probably last public stream, probably until January. I'm gonna try to get things going again in January. We'll revamp, we'll get it make it look cleaner, we'll make it look more crisp, we'll get more popping. But for right now, this will be the last time you'll be hearing of me on Twitter, Rumble, YouTube. We're going to wrap up the rest of the 2024 mentorship privately. So with that, I had to get on here and discuss the end of the world that had occurred today. We will go through that in depth, of course. We'll also go into some individual names. I got a full list I want to look at. Got a couple group requests. And then if we got time at the end, we'll go through the ones that you guys had commented on Twitter. So with all of that, before we roll over here, if you're watching this, drop a like. I'm sure you're going to like what you hear. Okay. So without further ado, let's get rolling. So what everybody wants to hear about, NASDAQ/SPY. Let me make sure that we're all good here. You guys can see, beautifully done. Okay, good. All right. So we will go into SPY individually as well, because there is a bit of divergence between the two. Okay. So as always, I like to start from the monthly perspective when we do these monthly preps, of course. So here we are on NASDAQ. We have clearly a nice run since the lows back in October of 2022. One thing that you're going to notice about that low in October of 2022 is that if we were to zoom out just a bit here, drop it back to our COVID low to our high, we got our discount retracement into our bullish imbalance, while also sweeping liquidity in the inverse direction of our overarching trend, sending us to our new all-time high, completing the Mando model, and also giving us a little bit of a bump up and through those previous all-time highs. Now, where we currently sit, our range is still currently developing. Okay, we've yet to form any downside imbalance on a monthly time frame that would suggest that 50% is coming. Okay, and if you go back historically, every single time this has occurred, you will notice that there was a bearish imbalance that formed to indicate price is likely to go back down into discount of that specific range. So we haven't gotten that yet, which is fine. Okay, I'm not going to be the one to call top, because that's not what I do here. I take what I have in front of my face and I make decisions based off of that. I don't want to try and front run this thing, because more often than not, here's your example. You're going to get another opportunity into that imbalance that was formed. Okay, so that's where we currently sit from a monthly standpoint. Now, if we were to crunch this down a little bit, and here's just, just to be fair, these lows are disgusting. Okay, just to be really fair, we can justify that bounce with this order block here, but this is not something that I would prefer to trade, to be honest with you. We got into our imbalance on the previous low wick right here for another, nice little bounce. But this bounce right here, it's not really all that clean. And by leaving these equal lows down here, that leads me to believe at some point, doesn't have to be now, could be 6 months from now, but these lows are going to get cleaned up at some point. Way too sloppy for them not to. Okay. So to crunch it down a little bit more, we'll go here into our weekly perspective. Whoops. Okay. And let me zoom this in just a tad bit more. So, okay, you will notice that this is where the SMT divergence, or the difference between NASDAQ and the S&P, so QQQ versus SPY, you're going to notice that there's a pretty big difference here. And the difference is on ES or SPY, we took out previous all-time high, okay? But on NASDAQ, we did not, okay? So you'll notice right here, here's our showtime imbalance. look, I know we've been talking about this for about 5 weeks. This showtime imbalance, this being an area of, for me personally, hands off. I'll let it dictate what it wants to do from here. But in the meantime, no interest for me at this time. Reason being, last major imbalance before a large pool of liquidity. And when you have divergence between the two indices, such as here, I'll skip ahead a little bit, and here's ES. Notice how ES made that high while NASDAQ did not. Another little bit of divergence between the two is that on that most recent price run, NASDAQ did get into discount of that range, okay, right here. So from your low of October 23 to your high back in July, here's your discount retracement. Here's your bullish imbalance. There's your liquidity sweep in the inverse direction of your overall trend. There's your run. But we did not take out the high. We have that final bearish imbalance right here in the mix. Come back over to ES and notice how ES did not get into 50% of the range. That's really frustrating, right? So with that being said, knowing that we have a much larger range on ES, is this the time that we're going to finally see discount, right? And you might say, well, right now, Mando, it shows that it's 50%, right? Yes, but this is what it was like when we were actually at this point. We could justify this bounce with this fair value gap right here. I'll draw it just so you guys can see it there, okay? Because every move on this chart is justifiable every single time. But where we currently stand, right? Even if you go to your next one and you say, oh, nope, no discount yet, right? We keep on moving, and here it is, okay? And from this point, this is where things get a little testy. Not only are we voiding one previous bullish imbalance, but also, are we going to ultimately create the first imbalance to the downside that would suggest price is going to go see 50%? That's the ultimate question here. So are we a week away from more information, more necessary information? I believe so. But one thing that's also sticking out right off the bat here on the weekly time frame for SPY is these relative equal lows at 5,724. So still about 20 points lower. Okay. But just we'll revisit SPY on that time frame as well. But where we're looking at it here from NASDAQ again, another set of ugly lows, a lot of range to the downside here, but without another formation of a bearish imbalance here, I'm not really all that sold that this is the death sentence for NASDAQ. Okay, it's got to show me. Now, when you break it down into an even smaller time frame here with your daily time frame, I use the 24-hour. That way I can get the overnight price action and not have all these gaps all over the place. I'd prefer to have actual candles, right? But where we stand here, you'll notice that ultimately completing a Mando model here. Hold on, ready? From your low to your high, shifting structure here. Here's your discount retracement into a bullish imbalance. There's your run for highs. There's the completion of the Mando model. On that second little leg here, right? What I have currently mapped from your low up to your ultimately high here, this retracement here is into a bullish breaker, but not quite discounted, okay? And I remember talking to everybody about this and saying how we don't have any imbalances here, so it's a little bit more difficult to really feel, gung-ho about another long situation here. Now, there's one thing here that I know those of you who are in the group and have studied this in the past, you'll see this right off the bat, and this is something that happens quite often on both sides, not only in a bearish fashion, but also in a bullish fashion. But here's just really a textbook example of a 3 drives higher pattern, okay, where you have your first sweep in liquidity, ultimately giving you that first move down to bait more people into this downside move, taking them out, grabbing more liquidity, baiting more, grabbing more liquidity for ultimately that third flush that ultimately sends you down through a previous pool of liquidity. Now, I know right off the bat, we have one sitting there at NASDAQ at 19,818. That is a bunch of relative equal lows. That gets you down into the breaker. And also at that point, you'd be approaching 50% of your overarching range. Now, to bring it over into, the similar type of perspective for SPY, here are those equal lows that we discussed on that weekly time frame, but discount quite a bit lower. And also specifically, this is really the area in which I'm going to start feeling hot again. And this is when we get into discount of that daily range. This is a daily bullish imbalance. But even here, let's just map this out. 5658. Let's go over here to the weekly. 5658. What do we have at 5658? Anything? 5658. I mean, not really. Maybe a low wick and go, but that's at best. So really, next week's candle is going to offer a lot of information for me personally here. If we are to form a bearish imbalance, which means that at no point next week do we come back and touch this October 21st candle's low, which is at 5,801. If you're to create that bearish imbalance, when price approaches that bearish imbalance, at that point, I'm going to be starting to look for retracements into discount. Okay. We've had a lot of names over the last couple of weeks, and I actually just posted a tweet about this, about an hour ago, which we had NVIDIA recently complete my model. We had Apple recently complete my model. We had Microsoft recently complete my model. We had MSTR recently complete my model. And there's one recurring theme with all of those names. And simply put, when you complete my model and you take liquidity to the upside, especially when you're not really searching for higher pools, right? When you're at all-time highs, you really don't have another pool that you're looking overhead towards. That's when you start to see some sharp moves after the liquidity sweep to ultimately bring you down into discount for another round later on. But we'll get into those individual names. But that's really where I'm at. I have extreme caution. And like I said, next week's candle really will help out a lot, in my opinion. And what I mean by that, simply put, is if we're to create some sort of imbalance down, that's going to make me feel much more comfortable for a continuation move, ultimately to get you your discount on ES. NASDAQ could even go sweep another low or two or three. But until that's proven, I'm not going to just jump in. Think about how many people have been short all this way, right? Every one of these red candles, they're calling for the end of the world until it's proven, which it hasn't been at all, not once in this entire run, until maybe here. But we got our discount, so a little bit more fuzzy. That's why it's deemed showtime, right? So I'll pop over if anybody has any questions about any of that. Feel free to drop them in, and I'll get to them. But that's just an overview on the indices. Definitely a little bit more cautious, and from a futures or index perspective here, I think a little bit more information is necessary to make more accurate decisions. So. Okay, ES monthly fair value gap lines up with daily discount. Okay, so let's take a look over at that. You're right. I did not look at the monthly on ES here. Okay, so I think this is what you're referring to, or daily discount, one of these FEGs. So yeah, I'm going to keep that plan in place. Again, it's got to prove it. It's got to form that imbalance. Without it forming, could just see something like this, garbage PA over a prolonged period of time, which is not ideal. But anyways, that is the index run through real quick. So to go into some of these individual names, I got a pretty fat list here that I want to get through. We got some time, so that's fine. Now, the first name I want to look at is one that we've been out for a while, and that is Tesla. So let's pull it up. Okay, and from a monthly perspective, not much has changed here, even despite that, what seemed to be an epic failure of that event, right? Not much has changed here. We got into a monthly order block, respected it, also respecting a previous bearish monthly imbalance, and ultimately swept that 271 that we had been, keyed in on for a little bit. Now, we have a couple more buy-side targets that have been untouched up to this point without any bearish imbalances in the mix. So let's drop it down to a smaller time frame, and we'll get a little bit more precise. So where we currently stand, okay, so let me just run through this really quickly. I'll remove some of these lines, and that way we can, ultimately, I can walk through it a little bit better. Here's fine. Okay, so following taking out this high right here, you shift structure. Okay, smaller time frame shift, but a shift nonetheless. Following that shift, you get your retracement down into discount of that bullish range. Here's your turtle soup. We sweep liquidity in the inverse direction of that overarching trend. Think about all of those people who are saying to themselves, 167.75, that's my stop loss. That's what I'm getting out. Okay. Triggers, grabs liquidity. Thank you for your money. And then it runs. Okay. That's a completion of the Mando model right there. Here's your next. So from your low up to your high, here's your discount retracement. So in this situation, not only did we have this bullish imbalance down here, we also had a bullish breaker, low, high, lower low, break up and through. We would anticipate the high of that sequence to act as a support level moving forward. And you could say that there it is. Boom. There's your run higher. Gets back into this weekly bearish fair value gap one more time. Rejection. This is off that event. Okay. Right. Remember, it's all the event, right? Has nothing to do with all the perfectly precise levels that we have. But there's your rejection. One more bullish volume imbalance here. 3 drives lower. 1, 2, 3. See you later. That's that earnings move. And ultimately sweeps 271 to complete the Mando model from this perspective. Now where we currently sit, you have your low up to your high. So with big ranges comes big retracements. Our high at 273.54 seems like a million miles away, but we've yet to get into discount of this range. So over the next just tomorrow, 19 hours, whatever. Over tomorrow, as long as price does not come back down to, what is this, 224.26. Okay, that would be a 25-point down move. You're going to create a weekly bullish imbalance moving forward. Okay, we still have multiple draws on liquidity higher, 278.98, 299.29, and 314.67 to work with. But at this exact moment, this can change if tomorrow we make another low, which is fine. But this is what your bullish imbalance is going to look towards. But really, the interest for me will kick in at about 242.82. That's discount of that range. Range is pretty big. It's about $17. But you can kind of tighten this up by scrolling down into smaller time frames as well. But the bias remains the same on Tesla. Really, nothing has changed. Really just looking for another discount for another run, and that's about it. So even that timing might line up with what we said about those relative equal lows and getting into that imbalance on ES and NASDAQ. So that's Tesla. Again, not really much of a change there. I'm going to look at a couple of the other big names first, and then I'll get into the more or the smaller names, I guess. So next, just NVIDIA, one that everybody always wants to talk about, which is fine. But so as we referenced before, NVIDIA from your low up to your high, here's your discount retracement into a bullish imbalance. There is ultimately your run for highs, and there's your completion of the Mando model, okay? So at this point, we have a new range set, which is great, okay? But until we get into discount, I'm really not all that interested. Now, from this point here, you might say, well, there's a bunch of bullish fair value gaps up here, right? And I would say, yeah, you're right. True. That is a true statement. Even here, not quite void just yet. Okay. If tomorrow miraculously pulls 134.80, then this would still be valid. But in the process of creating a weekly bearish order block. Okay. Here's the thing about NVIDIA, and this is where it gets a little sketchy. Okay. So if we were to fail this ultimately, right? Fail this, create the bearish order block, and eventually maybe even create next week, like we said, does it create a bearish fair value gap? If that's the case, then we're looking for discount. Now, this is where it really gets a little ugly. Do we have any discount bullish imbalances in this price run? Nope. There are none. Okay. Right. A couple relative equal lows here as well, without any imbalances on the weekly time frame to use as guidance. Okay, so really the last stand for bulls would be a retracement back down into here, a low wick into discount, and to maintain it. Otherwise, this can get a little ugly. Remember, NVIDIA is one of those names that if we scroll this out a little bit wider, it's one of the very few that we have yet to see a monthly discount retracement on. Okay. NVIDIA is one of them. Apple's another. We'll take a look there. Microsoft is another one. There's a bunch of names that have yet to get that monthly retracement. I'm not saying that it's now, right? But with us just taking liquidity, do we create some sort of downside action, create a bearish imbalance along the way to justify a move back down into discount of this range? Okay, at some point. Again, until that happens, until we see that bearish imbalance, there's no reason to look elsewhere, right? Any time, go back historically, even on a name like NVIDIA, right? Just look for a bearish imbalance, and that will tell you, oh, there it is, discount. Okay, here's your bearish imbalance. There's discount. Okay, you could back test this on any name you want. Okay, so that's where it just gets a little bit sketchy on NVIDIA being, I hate to use this word, but I'm going to use it, as extended as we are. Okay, so that is NVIDIA. Just, I know, another name that everybody wants to talk about. Here's Apple, another similar situation. We just swept our high right here. Okay, we took out July's high with the move on Apple this past month. Okay, here's a bullish volume imbalance. This is the third time in this bullish volume imbalance. Did we slip this? Questionable. Okay, but here's what I really want to bring attention to. Okay, from your low up to, again, you can go to each one of these highs to just confirm, did we get into discount? No. No. No discount retracement. Now, what else is there that you see here? First drive higher, second drive higher, third drive higher. Okay, just a little suspect. That's all. Okay, we do have one untouched monthly bullish imbalance way far down. Okay, which is fine. But again, until it shows us a monthly bearish imbalance, there's no real reason for me to look for downside. Here it is, monthly bearish imbalance. Here's discount of your range. Bearish imbalance, discount. See, you can back test this on anything. I'm just being fair, right? Because over the last couple of months, we really haven't created too much upside momentum here. Here's your weekly, okay? Most recently, a completion of the Mando model, low to your high. Here's your discount retracement into a bullish imbalance. Also, a bullish breaker, low, high, lower low, break up and through, retracement back down. There she goes, okay? So, oh, whoops, let me leave that one. I'm going to get rid of this one for now. Okay, so where we currently sit, this is what we're working with. Very similar to what we just saw on NVIDIA. Let's just confirm this. Low to your high, discount retracement, run for highs. You got a mini Mando model completion there. Yep, very similar to NVIDIA. Okay, so you tell me, are there any imbalances in discount of this current range? Nope. It's just getting a little sketchy. That's all. Okay, on to the next name. Let's do Microsoft. Okay, similarly, big range from your low up to your high. Discount will get you down all the way down to 343. Here's a bullish imbalance off of that. There has not been any formation of a bearish imbalance here. Okay, so just like everything else, no formation of a bearish imbalance. You know, not going to just try and jump it. If there were to form a bearish imbalance, more often than not, you're going to get an opportunity at it. Just like here. Started your bear market. Was it a bear market? Or was it just discount retracement? You tell me. Okay, there's your imbalance form. There's your test into it. There's your retracement into discount of that bullish range. Clockwork. You can do it on any chart. Okay. So here is what we're currently working with on Microsoft. Again, no bearish imbalances formed, so there's nothing really suggesting that we want to go lower just yet. But when you slice it down into smaller time frames, that's where it gets a little bit fuzzier. Okay, here's with Microsoft. Whoops, left behind relative equal highs. That's okay. But at this point, right, you're below multiple bullish imbalances here. You have a couple lows down here looking to get slapped up, an untouched bullish imbalance down here as well. So with Microsoft, again, just another name that, you know, didn't have that monthly retracement just yet. Even on this most recent run, we didn't take out that high. Also, no imbalances down here. It's really controlled to that upside over the last couple of weeks to grind higher without forming any imbalances really in the process. So that's just another large cap name. And then the last one I want to look at, and I'll show you guys something else on this name, but Amazon. So where are we? Amazon. And if anybody could do this, go check. Give me a price check on Amazon because I know it had earnings here. I'll do it too. You guys might beat me to it, but let's say. Okay, so in after hours trading, we're at 197 right now. Okay. So here's Amazon on your monthly time frame. Have you no no monthly retracement, okay, into discount, right? Discount's very far away. Here's your weekly on Amazon, okay? So the other day we completed and we took out 195, but from a larger standpoint, 201.20 gets it done. Okay, we're rather close to that. I wouldn't be shocked if we take 201.20 and then kind of make the same way that Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple all did as well, where you sweep it and you start to retrace. And again, just another situation where that move that's taking out that liquidity is not really creating many imbalances in the process. And that can lead to a smooth run through those lows eventually or later on. It's just getting a little sketchy out here. That's all I'm saying. But that is Amazon as well. Now, I want to show you guys this for Edgeful. Hold on, let's pull this up. So, I've been talking about Edgeful for a few weeks now. Yeah, you guys can see it. Cool. And here's just previous earnings performance for Amazon over a 5-year stretch. And here's the thing. It's kind of like when somebody says something and you're kind of just like, oh, okay, right? Like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, how about this? Elections right around the corner. October surprise, right? How many times you heard that over the last month? Was there one? I don't think so, right? Beats me. But that's the thing, right? There's sometimes things are just said and there's like nothing to back it up. So that's why, to have data like this is to me really important. When you have somebody just saying something without anything to just back it up, it's, it drives me nuts. So it's just amazing how you look at something like Amazon today and you look at the data that it's put in over a 5-year stretch. This isn't, a small sample size by any means. And, your pre-earnings, you have your red little run, which, what do we have today on Amazon previous to that earnings report? I know we're up $11 off of earnings. And then post earnings, you have red. And, that was kind of what I was just leading on to a little bit, that I'm expecting that high to get swept. And then from there, where do we go? We're starting to see a little bit of weakness, from a, zoomed out look as well, where you don't have many imbalances forming in the process of that last run up through those highs. So it's just, to have this type of information, I think it's extremely helpful and, kind of backs up claims. I never want to be a person who says something and can't really back it up. So, but I want to show you guys that. So I think it's helpful. Now we'll go, I got a couple more. One name that we just had that completed today, which took out another name off of our list. So in the group, a couple months back, actually, we had, or not we, I posted a bunch of swings and swing targets that I had. And so far, I think we've gotten 12 out of them with like 6 left. So, really the idea there is, if you know anything about me, to me, alerts don't work. I think it's garbage. But to structure an idea for you guys to see what I'm seeing and how I'm going about it, that's the draw in that. That's the benefit to everyone else. It's not, me calling a, 25 point price run, which is sick, but it's not about that. It's about the process of you getting there so that you don't need anybody else and you can do it yourself. So, like I said, a couple months back, we were talking about Twilio, and for a long time, it was really just chopping up and down. Ultimately, gets deep into discount, and you know what happens next. Manda Models Complete up at 78.16, and that's just another one we can cross off the list. So right now, let me just go through a couple of those other names. I'm not going to do the ones right now that haven't completed yet because I don't want to tell the world about my hard work. But let's just see. So we've had Roblox complete. That was 47.20 here. Hold on. Okay, Roblox, low, high, discount retracement, bullish imbalance. See you later. That would be your first. We had End Phase. End Phase was a while ago. Jeez. End Phase is tanked off of that sweep too. Low, high, discount retracement, run for highs, 139.65 target. Bang. And kind of like what we were talking about before, sweep that high and boop. So that is End Phase. That was number 2. Upstart, that one just took care of business as well a couple weeks ago. That was at $49. So low, high, discount retracement. Oh wait, whoops, here it is. Whoops. Low, high, discount retracement, bullish imbalance, run for highs, Phantom auto complete. That was our third. Let's see, we'll keep it rolling. NVIDIA, this was pre split. 974 was the mark. That was that run. So sorry about that, but yeah, the numbers don't line up there. But NVIDIA was another. Palo Alto. Hold on. Okay, low to your high, discount retracement, bullish imbalance, run for highs. Here's your high. That was like over 100 points. That was sick. Mana model complete. Sweet. Oracle 132. Okay, low to your high. Not quite discounted on this most recent run, but here was the run we referenced. Whoops. It was up to 132.50. So it was this price run right here. Whoops. Low, high, discount retracement, bullish imbalance, run through highs. And the second one was here. Whoops. Low to your high, discount retracement, run for highs. So that was 2 for the price of 1. You're welcome. There's Oracle. Coupang. We'll do Coupang. Where are we? We'll go over the other ones that have yet to take care of business. A couple. Probably do it next week. Low, high, discount retracement, bullish imbalance. There's your run for highs. Manda model complete. Another one bites the dust. Let's keep going down the list. We had Twilio. There it is. TTD. TTD actually went berserk. Hold up. Low to your high. Here's your discount retracement, bullish imbalance. There's your run for highs. This actually happened twice too, but nonetheless, beauty. So that was a TTD. Let's keep on rolling. What do we got? And Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab's the only one that you're going to notice there's a difference in setup because this is OddNam versus the Manda model. OddNam just being the inverse. Okay, so I have the tweet from this one too, but it was cool. But we targeted 614 first, and that one nailed it. So those are just some names that I wanted to recap, go back through. As you can see, all very similar setups. The only difference here would be Rocket Lab, which swept liquidity here. That was all-time lows. We shifted structure here, created the breaker here. Whoops. Okay. There it is. Retracement back into the breaker. See you later. Okay. So I still have Rocket Lab too. OddNam completes in a couple bucks, actually. I think it was like 12 something. So not quite there just yet. But here, there it is. There you go. Good. Okay. Almost 1241 is 50%. But yeah, that is just a couple of the names we went through. It's a couple names and a couple more that we got to get to. So here's a few more. I'm not gonna reference which is which, but let's do Mara. So realistically, Mara has been the biggest headache of the year for me in particular. But the one thing that remains the same is that setup really hasn't changed. Like nothing has changed. It's just taken forever. But here's your low to your high. Here's your discount retracement. Here's your turtle soup sweep. We got into our discount retracement, filled up this past month. A couple of here's a bearish for value gap. There's a bearish volume imbalance. We're all filled, not much holding us back. I also want to go through Bitcoin as well. Here's another filled bearish imbalance. So no bearish imbalances overhead from a monthly perspective. That is cool. Here is your weekly. Okay, low to your high. Here's your discount retracement. Here's your 3 drives lower. 1, 2, 3. So far, so good. We got our shift in structure. We got our retracement into a discount imbalance. Held on to it pretty nicely. So far, so good. Filled up our bearish imbalance overhead almost to the tick. A little bit higher. My bad. Okay. No imbalances overhead here either. Okay, so Mara still looks great. To back this up, we'll look at Bitcoin here. Another name very similar to Amazon, actually. Low to your high, discount retracement, bullish imbalance. There's your run. Oh, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 out of the 4 relative equal highs have been swept to this point. The only one that remains is 73,794. I do expect that to get taken out over the next couple of weeks here. Bitcoin, just also quickly, let's do the monthly. Just another name that has not gotten a discount retracement in quite some time. Just worth noting. Again, nothing is suggesting it's going down there yet. Anybody who tells you that probably doesn't know what they're doing. So here's where we are right now. Low to your high. Whoops. Hold up. Bing, bing. Okay. So over the next day or so, really would like to see, or I'm sorry, over the next day, literally 22 minutes, really just want to see Bitcoin not create a bullish, bearish fair value gap. I'm sorry. So on this most recent run, you have this bullish fair value gap right here, but one remains 73,600, whatever the all-time high was at that point. Sorry, let me get the exact number. 73,794. It's the only one that remains at this point. Even still here, technically have this bullish amount still. But yeah, it would be encouraging tomorrow if 71,318 can at some point hit and prevent that bearish imbalance from forming, to look for ultimately that all-time high to take care of business. So also just worth being aware of, you have drive 1, drive 2, drive 3. So you do have 3 drives higher at this point. So that is Bitcoin, Mara as well. Let's see what other names. Upstart's still one I'm pretty hot on. So we take a look over here at Upstart. Where are we? From a monthly perspective, very nice. Starting to reach a little bit here, which is good. Low to your high. Here's your discount retracement. Your monthly Mando model is still quite a ways away. Another name with just a massive range. You see what Carvana's doing. There's been a few actually who've made it all the way back up to 50% of their range, which is beautiful. Palantir, another one. Robinhood, I think, is relatively close. So there's a few with a lot of range to the upside still. But Upstart, just another one of those names, a lot of range to the upside. Go over here to the weekly time frame. From your, here it is, low to your high, not quite discounted on a weekly, but we do have this weekly bullish volume imbalance here. Untouched, no bearish imbalances formed, nothing really suggesting lower prices as of yet. Okay, so here's your low up to your high, not quite discounted on the daily, but again, another big daily imbalance right here. No bearish imbalance to the downside, nothing suggesting anything at the moment. So but that's just another one. Really, I want to key in and find, where can we look? I want to have a new list of swings and swing targets to come out, and I'll put them together for sure. There are a few names that I'm getting a little hot on. But and Baba, believe it or not, is one that I'm kind of liking the way it looks. So we look at Baba here, off your low, from your low to your high. Here's your discount retracement. There's your bullish order block. Not a fan, but there's your run. Not quite completing my model. That would complete at 121.30. but we created a monthly bullish imbalance. It's very encouraging for those bulls of Baba. Moving forward here, that mark at 95.52 gets you into the monthly bullish imbalance there. Doesn't necessarily have to get there in one shot. We are inside a monthly bullish breaker. So, but this is one that I'm, starting to pivot a little bit, for the last couple of weeks or months, really. The heat towards the large cap tech names kind of fizzled. I've been looking elsewhere. A lot of those had already gotten their moves, and kind of just looking for the last couple of bucks up to buy side liquidity to complete the model. But I want to find them when they're low. I'll sell it when everybody else wants to buy it. That's the idea there. But Baba is one that I'm getting a little hot on here. Let's move MSTR. So let's take a look at MSTR actually. So this just completed the monthly Mando model on I don't know. I actually forget what day it was. I think last week at some point. This is what we currently got mapped out wise for the range. MSTR. You'll also notice that that post earnings move that you saw, that low wick that immediately ripped lower, right? That was literally right after taking out that all-time high again. Again, just liquidity. That idea and that concept is really helpful. So I'm not necessarily all that bullish on this. Maybe long term, but after taking out the all-time high the way that we did, I'm not at the moment. But if you're bullish, you kind of want it to close above last week's high. That would be encouraging. Closing back below that, I could see us potentially creating a bearish order block next week. But that's MSTR. Let's see. There was a few others that I wanted to peek in on. Trying to think. What do we have? Hold on. I wrote them down here. Hold on. Pulling it up. Okay. Target was one I wanted to look at. Here's Target. Okay, from your low up to your high, shifting structure here by taking out this high, leaving behind a relative equal high right here up there at 183.89. Okay, right now we are currently rejecting this bearish monthly volume imbalance. Okay, so do we get a better opportunity at Target, right? Even if you look down here, we actually never got into the bullish imbalance. We hit the breaker and we took the skids. I remember this because when I first posted this in the group, I said 132.29. I'd love that for an opportunity as a long-term play. We didn't get it here, right? And now, this seems like it could be back in play, right? We don't have the ample liquidity to get through this volume imbalance. Do we need to go see this? It's just the ultimate question we got to start asking. So Target is one that I'm going to keep an eye on, following the rejection of this monthly imbalance yet again. So maybe we will get that opportunity. What else? We have Net. Net is another one here. Whoops. Okay. So here's Net. Whoops. This is a big time MM in the making. Low to your high. Here's your discount retracement. Bullish imbalance. Check. So far, so good. A couple months back, we got into that monthly bullish imbalance. Also, so far, so good. I don't believe there is a bearish imbalance here now. There's not. Yep. So that 118 draw, that's a smaller time frame, or 116, sorry. It's a smaller time frame draw. You got your next level up there at 132. So Net is just another one that's, for me to be able to formulate a bias. That's something I keep in the back pocket. Makes me feel good about it, even on smaller time frames. So Net here again. Okay, we're currently inside a weekly bullish imbalance here. Following the sweep of 87.18. Here's your most recent run from your low up to your high. We're right at discount. And here again is your bullish imbalance right here. So that's Net. Let me pop over to the comments really quick. Hold on. Okay. Yes, thank you. Okay, let me just see if there was any that I did not do that were requested. Let's see. Uh, oh, N phase and AMD. Sure, we could do those. Perfect. Perfect. And then I see HD and VICR. Okay. Yep. So those will be the last couple we run through. All right. Here's AMD. Let's go from the monthly perspective first. Okay. From your low up to your high, we got our discount retracement, bullish imbalance. So far, so good. Ugly close to the month here, rejecting. Whoops. Let's pull it out. Okay, rejecting this volume imbalance, really sloppy also. Do we see the discount retracement on NVIDIA to lead the pack, to lead this down, to sweep that low down there at 121.83? That remains in question. Let's zoom out over here to AMD. From a short-term perspective, us closing the weekly underneath that 146.39 is not good. And that would ultimately, do you see how literally every setup right now is this, right? Which is fine, but on that second leg higher, we didn't really create all that many imbalances. We got into showtime and ultimately rejected, sweeping liquidity here in the process also. So this is I would prefer another week of additional information. Does it create that bearish imbalance? If it does, uh, that's good insight for us moving forward. If we can close this weekly back inside 146.39, that throws a little bit of a wrench into any downside plans. But where we currently sit, higher time frame, this is just a big range. That's the difficulty. That big range still gets you down to about 118 with one more imbalance below there as well. So next or this week's close leading into next week's, do we see a bearish imbalance? We still have non-farm payroll tomorrow. Non-farm payroll is wicked. Create this whole week in general, really the Wednesday afternoon into Friday morning. The price action is really no good as a result of the NFP, but we'll see. Do we see a close back inside here? We could very well wick this, but if not, if we get a close underneath here, I don't love the order block. 132 at that point looks not too bad. Also leading to NVIDIA, which looks like it could be ready for a little bit of downside also. That could really drag this thing. So that's AMD. The second one there was N phase, sure. So ENPH. So the N phase idea in itself, N phase actually did not take out that little low right here. So check out N phase on the yearly. Okay. N phase from your low up to your high. Here's your discount retracement into a bullish imbalance. See this low and go. 73.49. Still a little far away. That's this one right here as well. From this point, really, we're not working with any imbalances. This seems very likely. 73.49. Beyond that, check out TAN. So this is the solar ETF, but also really nice look to it from a higher time frame perspective. Low to your high, discounted with a breaker and bullish for value gap as well. So I'm thinking end phase sweep that low and get a move on. So that's end phase. HD. Let's look at Home Depot. Just yet another name. Mando model complete. Swept the high. Pulled back immediately. Now what? Okay. So what we're working with on HD. High here. Discount on the monthly. There's your run for highs. Yeah, this gets a little ugly here as well. That's your little current range. Yikes. Not so hot, eh? Really want to see it expand and not create any imbalance to the downside here for any sort of continuation. But at all-time highs makes things a little bit more difficult there. So that is Home Depot. Look at all these freaking alerts, man. Sheesh. All right, last one. VICR. Okay, so from a monthly perspective here, let's just see this from your low up to your high. Whoops. Let's just see. Let's make sure that didn't get discounted, or did it? Yep, it did. Okay. Mando model complete here. Here's your next price run. Low to your high. Discount retracement. Bullish imbalance. Run for highs. Mando model complete. Here's your next from your low up to your whoops high. Oh boy. Danger. So monthly, ooh, relative equal lows here. I think this is a turtle soup situation. I think it's going lower. Here's a bearish monthly imbalance right here. Yeah, this one is got another bearish imbalance here as well. Those relative equal lows are a little shady on this name, so I'm out on this one. But all right, so I think that's it. Let's see. Scroll through this really quick. We actually scrolled through a bunch of names. That's good. I'm looking to see if I have any others that I wanted to talk about. Hmm. No, I think that's it. But all right. That's all I got. So uh hopefully this was insightful. You know, I like doing this, but I will catch you guys. We're gonna be back doing live streams again in just a little bit of a different capacity starting in January. Most of the stuff I'm doing from here on out is gonna be just in the group. If that's something you're into, come check it out. We got a cool community of people, people getting better and making some monies. So that's all I have. So I will catch everybody in 2025. Good luck.